Call the meeting to order. Would you please do the roll call?
Chris,
Here.
Heather. Here. Jim,
Here.
Sarah,
Here.
Joshua,
Here, can you hear me?
I can hear him on the laptop.
Yeah. Here
Yeah.
for the record. I can hear you.
Okay. We just have you on the laptop. You're not through the speaker in the room, so give us just a second here.
Gonna put a microphone.
I can hear you loud and clear.
That might work.
In room. I don't know what else to say beyond that.
I know.
Where's the- Right there. We're gonna see.
Joshua, can you say here again?
Here again.
Okay.
Dang it. Just not connected through.
We have a forum. That is true.
Um. Do you guys feel comfortable having Anna relay Tom and Josh?
I think so. It's,
Vote. The only thing is conversation, right? We don't really have a way of letting them discuss.
Right.
not easily.
No, not really.
Hmm.
Anna, repeat what they said.
Oh my gosh.
Or some kind of-
Me- Would it work on if we put them on speakerphone, like through your phone, not like through the iPhone? Instead of having them through the. Does that do
That
better?
might work.
Have you ever got, well, I was just thinking if we put it on speakerphone on a cell phone and hold it up to the microphone, that might work better than,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. We can try that if these guys, you can just mute their here and call. And I can give you my phone if you want,
Okay.
and they can call my number and we can just put my phone on speaker.
Okay.
Okay,
That'll work.
okay, let's try that.
Okay. All right, just be patient. Joshua and Tom, we're gonna have you call in on Liz's
Oh,
cell phone.
Let me call them.
Okay, she's gonna call
I can conference them.
you guys. It's like technical difficulties here.
But I need their phone numbers.
Mine is 907-723-5866.
Got it. Thank you. And Tom,
Mine is 907-660-7495.
Okay, I'm gonna call you and then conference you and then we'll put you on speakerphone.
Hmm.
And then we'll put you up to a microphone so that hopefully we can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
And then you're gonna need to mute your computers on that end so that it doesn't come through twice. Great, thank you. Let's mess this up, so let's see.
Okay, here I am.
Hi, let me see if I can add in another person. Yeah, I can. Let me try and put you together. See if this works. Okay, hold on. Okay, I have you both on. Hello? Okay. Yeah, I can hear you guys. Let me put you on speakerphone and then we'll try and see if this works.
Clever technique.
Okay, Joshua, can you say here again? Here. That's much better. Do we start the roll call over or should I just pick up where I leave it? Okay. Micah? Here. Thomas?
Here.
Okay. Do we have any amendments to the agenda for today's meeting? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So. I have an amendment.
Go ahead, Thomas.
I'd like to add a discussion to, discuss the possibility of creating ordinance to regulate data centers.
Okay. So where we put this under the commissioner comments?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have any amendments to the minutes from the previous meeting? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, do you have any public comments that are unrelated to agenda items for today's meeting? Hearing none, we'll move on. We have on the consent calendar acceptance and scheduling of an application from Keto's LLC for a special use permit for the borough right of way for a landing porch and wheelchair ramp at 200 Chief John Locke Street. We have a motion to accept this for the next meeting.
I move to accept and schedule an application for Keto's LLC for a special use permit for use of a borough right of way for a landing porch and wheelchair ramp at 200 Chief John Locke Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to public hearing items. We have consideration of an application from Central Council, Tlingit Haida, Indian Tribes of Alaska for minor subdivision at 1200 Logan Drive. Do we have any public testimony?
Yeah.
Okay. Step up, state your name.
Hello, my name is Nicole McLaurin. I reside on Casino Street, adjacent to the lot in question. And I've come before the planning and zoning commission, once before in person, who submitted a letter in writing. And in regard to this, this request, and I remain many questions about it. I have some base objections, which have been included in the letter that I did submit. Namely the precedent that it would set to turn, an open use zoning lot into basically what's a commercial, entity. And trying to solve a private industry problem with public land. I recognize that this would be technically owned by Tlingit Haida Central Council, and so perhaps there are some government to government considerations there that are attempted to be taken into place. My question, largely in line with the way the ordinances are written out, if I understand properly, the uses permitted are aside from the nice things like parks and things that we're definitely changing from, would be government buildings and quasi uses. And I don't see a cell tower as a government building. This seems like quite a stretch there, so I'm kind of failing to see how it fits in that permitted use. My second question would be, if it came under conditional use, then I believe then it would be subject to commercial one limitations. 19.32.060, which then limits construction to 3 stories or 35 feet. And I'm not sure if I'm following this quite correctly. But if I am, then I'm still failing to see how a cell tower can be erected on that site. And aside from, I mean, and I recognize that you folks have been struggling with this. I mean, it's pushing on a year now and doing a lot of work with changing and creating an ordinance that's adaptable. And it just kind of seems to me that if it's like this much trouble, like to get the puzzle piece to fit into the puzzle, it's not the right piece. And I'm struggling to see why we're working so hard to make this fit. It was the same question that I had when I first came before this entity, and that I've stated before the council, that I've stated at work sessions. And when we just hear folks saying, hey, this is a bad idea, and we've got one entity saying, no, this is what we want to do, I'm at a loss. I recognize that I've sort of bopped in and out. I have my own volunteer work that I do in the community. I don't see folks at the meetings up for wave, but you're welcome anytime. But you know, we've all got our things that we do, and I feel like I've done as much as I can do as an adjacent homeowner to state my opposition. And if it does not work to put a cell tower within our community, then it does not work. And that we have to bend over backwards and give over lands that are not really designated for such uses. For broadband within a 2.5 mile radius, and then build it and maybe they will come, maybe other things can come, maybe we'll budget in our system for emergency systems, you know, I don't know, but it just sounds to me like a bad idea. So I appreciate your hearing me, and I would like to see a no vote on this consideration.
I wasn't gonna talk, Becky, my community member. I'd like to ditto everything previous speaker said. And also say there are serious safety concerns about the location of the tower right next to the fire hall with 300 gallons of fuel right underneath it, which I just recently learned about. And also aesthetic concerns, they do count. And for the people that walk on the back road often, next time you're walking back there, take a look and see what that cell phone tower on Mill Road has done to the view of the Petersburg Creek area, which is beautiful wilderness area. But it does matter. It matters in our community. And I don't want our community to look like a porcupine cell phone towers. So, and everything else concerned, and above all, privacy concerns are a huge issue. And that is probably the #1 issue here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a comment. Follow up on Nicole McMorrin's comment, and she hears on the letter. I understand that that location is a federally recognized tribe, however, this is not his really.
Deliberations.
Can we wait to handle this during deliberations, please?
Oh, sorry, I'm not there, I can't do.
Judy Omer, I think since October, I've spoken at every assembly meeting and every planning and zoning meeting on the issue of cell towers, and now also the incoming plan for a data center. And I'm hoping that the discussion that you have here goes back to the safety, the aesthetics, and the things even that we can't talk about in terms of making a decision about towers, like the health and the environment. we can talk about them, it just may not enter into what you can decide based on that. But the safety issues are huge, you know, you talk to the childcare director and find out that, you know, they walk kids right by there. And you talk about a fall zone rather than the explosive setback, you know, that have been talked about before. There's some serious concerns. I would hope that in the discussions that you have at the end before you take your vote, hopefully you do it that way, you know, that kind of an issue can come up because fall zones are critical to the safety of the area. And there's plenty to worry about. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public testimony? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Move to approve resolution number 2026-0101 to subdivide a parcel to create a 10,036 square foot lot at 1200 Ogden Drive.
Second? Do we have a second? We have no second. Okay, so motion fails. All right. Moving on, recommendation to a borough assembly regarding application to rezone borough-owned property from open space recreational to single-family mobile home in preparation for sale of lots 26 and 27, section 33, township 58 south, range 79 east.
I move to recommend to the Borough Assembly that the application to rezone government lots 26 and 27. T58S R79E section 33 CRM parcels 01-028-100 and 01-028-150 from open space to single family mobile home be approved with recommended conditions of approval.
Second.
You have any public testimony? Hearing none, discussion? Yes.
So I asked Anna to distribute paperwork showing how, I'll just read it, that our population has remained pretty static in the last 30 years. We did see a big uptick when we incorporated as a borough, which took in all of the outsider folks. So where there is undoubtedly a need for housing, I feel like it's being met. I think with these developments that are already underway, move forward. I think we're gonna meet that requirement. Given that the population isn't booming, and given that we have Title 19 that does have a zone for open space recreation, the purpose being to provide for land and natural state to allow general access to lands while undeveloped, to allow public recreation opportunities to protect maintain fragile natural habitats. So I don't personally know of anyone from the Severson subdivision area that goes out there and cranberry picks, snowshoes, and goes cross-country skiing, but I know several that do from Mill Road. And since there are no homes along Mill Road, they're free to just access that and do all these wonderful things. So when Skylark Park bought GL lot 14 from the McGills, it was zoned open space recreational, which it remained that way until recently when it was rezoned for multi-family mobile home. And that was a 217,800 square foot lot. Also, 217,800 square foot lot for the lot they bought from McGill's. Also, they bought for public benefit, lot GL 21, which is also 217,800 square foot lot, which was rezoned away, both of these lots rezoned away from open space recreational, for the sake of a large development, which, you know, everyone agrees we need more housing. But I'm seeing all this open space recreational lands go away, we're not gonna have any left. And, I noticed in their application, they said they had no time frame, no specific design. And I know in the past, we have required to see such things before we said, okay, yeah, let's zone it, rezone it, let's sell it and all this stuff. So I personally would like to see it remain open space recreational. It is a zone. We can sell land zoned. We can't sell unzoned land, is my understanding, but this sale could go through without us rezoning it. And I believe that under the circumstance that they were able to buy all the lands that I described that were open space recreational, as well as several lots that were single family, they said they could do their project with those lots. So I don't see how they need these lots to be rezoned for single family mobile home too, to make the cost work out. Prior said they could do it with what they had purchased. So I don't want to see all the open space recreational go away. Especially when our population isn't growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks like we do have one person online that has their hand raised.
Okay.
I'd like to hear them.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Try it again.
Okay. I will try to speak in such a manner that you can hear me. So I have concerns regarding this proposal.
Donna, sorry, I gotta stop you. It's just not coming clear enough through the speaker.
Okay.
Would possibly typing work?
I'm sorry.
Typing your comment.
I can copy and paste my comments. Shall I do that into the comments?
That she could copy and paste in the comment here.
Or we
and then
could
it would-
call her and do the same thing.
We could do the same
Donna?
thing. I do have the background noise of the boat engine.
Yeah, she's hearing background noise. Should we add her to the?
You can add her to the
Yes.
thing.
We're thinking about adding you to the call.
Okay.
We have a cell phone here that we have Tom.
Okay. I'll disconnect from here and go from there. Okay.
You could just mute yourself on the Zoom.
Let's see.
That should work.
Get her phone number.
Donna will also grab your phone number, please.
907-518-0144.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see, trying to mute.
Liz Cabrera.
If I can't. Hello, can you hear me?
Not through the phone.
Not through the phone. Okay.
I got you now. Yeah. So I'm gonna merge you in with the other two and hopefully that'll work. Okay. Okay, Donna, hold on one second, then you're gonna be good to go.
Okay, Donna, go ahead and try again.
So regarding this rezoning, from open space recreational to single family mobile home, I do also have some concerns. In 7.4 acres, 3.7 acres per parcel of single family mobile homes. So prior, the, assembly and the commission have approved, previous rezones of lot 14 and government lot 21 for, single family mobile homes. If this plus this additional 7.4 acres were rezoned, that would be a potential of up to 85, that's 80 by 100 foot lot parcels. That'd be 85 mobile homes. In the 2016 comprehensive plan, it suggested starter homes might be an option to provide affordable housing for first-time homebuyers, just manufactured homes. But the also while avoiding overdeveloping housing for stable or declining populations. The Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development recently put out their population data, and that overall the state is declining. It's at 700,000 people overall. Southeast is declining in particular, as well as Petersburg specifically. I think it was like 0.98 growth in 24-25, but it had almost 3% decline for the previous 5 years. So I'm thinking we don't need 85 homes, and who knows what the future will hold. But industry that will support the growth, substantial growth, is down. We have timber, mining, and commercial fencing; they're all down due to a number of factors, and unless there's a reversal on how these are managed, they will continue to decline. Well, timber and mining are probably just non-existent. Tourism has affected these three major industries dramatically by how things are legislated and mandated. So by approving the rezone, we will surely end up with a surplus affordable housing and have roads allocated to the boroughs that would be too expensive to maintain. I think we're overshooting the mark here. I also appreciate the previous comment on putting so much of this space into development rather than green space that cross-country skiers, walkers, bikers, adventurers, kids access all year round. So I hope you will use these about 10 years over deliberation. Thanks.
Thank you. So when we were discussing this has been ongoing for a couple of years. One of the things that was talked about, I remember the housing thing that was discussed. One, we have a lot of old houses here. I mean, mine was built in 1900. The person before me owned it, started remodeling. I've spent a lot of money trying to keep it myself. And then we have a lot of dilapidated housing here. You drive down Parkin Street, look to the right, and those trailers, that's not what I would call living. In my personal opinion, I've lived in places like that before. So I also mentioned that at the time when we first discussed this, there was no houses on the market less than what I paid for my house. So that means look how much it's gone up in just 7 years I've been here. And so what they're trying to do is create affordable housing. So it's not a matter of we have a surplus of housing. We don't have what I would consider reasonable housing for people to live. A lot of people here live in trailers, single wives, whatever. I understand that down south, little houses is a growing trend, but that's because it's become so unaffordable for people to buy land to live. And as far as a developer, if you're building 2 houses, it's going to be a lot more expensive than building 10 houses. So I understand why they want more space, because it's going to distribute the cost. And even since this started, look how much inflation has gone up with fuel price, timber, all that stuff. Everything is just going exponentially, and they're trying to create a dollar point to stay to. And so I understand that. we do still need housing, but I cannot get people to come. I've tried to, have opening, I tried to get people from outside to come here, but there's no place for them to live. So there are other businesses in town, the hospital that was talked about it. The schools, they can't attract talent because there's no reasonable place. We are a little bit more understanding here in this community, but outside people, they come here, they're like, I wouldn't live there, I wouldn't live there, so we really have to think about that. Yes, you know, what Donna said as far as fishing is harder, we don't have the timber industry anymore. We're having to rely more and more on tourism, you know, we can only accommodate so much because we don't have a deep sea port. So we have to do things to help. And we have families that are growing and they want to move out, but they have no place to buy. James talked about that. You know, his wife having to buy a place. So I mean, this has been an ongoing discussion. So, and my personal opinion is that we have a lot of space. It's sort of like when they built the park. People were complaining about the trees getting cut down. They were needed to be cut because they were affected or whatever. But we have lots of trees. We have lots of open space. I appreciate this area because we do have so much. So, and I know that people are used to for little areas and stuff like that. I respect that, but we do have a need. And I'm not talking about cutting down 1,000 acres. I'm just talking about small area. So I support this.
Do you like, I have a follow-up comment. I agree with many of the points that Commissioner Floyd has brought up. The housing needs assessment, I haven't looked at it lately, some stuff that's off my memory, but I believe that it said we needed 330 new houses in the next 10 years. And because of what many of the points that Commissioner Floyd raised about the existing housing stock we have, kind of becoming more and more unlivable, and we need to and I understand people you know, refurbishing their houses, it's very expensive to build new. I know from experience, but houses do have a lifespan, and our community, I don't believe, has reached that 330 mark. I believe we still have many to go, and if there's 85 new houses that be added to that tally, you know, maybe we'll get close. I don't think we're gonna meet that goal. Even with this addition, but it could get us closer, which again, like other points you've raised, part of the reason I believe that our community is losing population is because we're not able to keep people here. You know, people live with their parents as long as they can, but eventually they need to find a place where they can live with their young and growing families, and for a lot of people that means leaving Petersburg. So I think in order to maintain our population or grow our population, I don't think we're going to have a housing surplus. I can see it if they were expensive homes. You know, if built a bunch of 85 mansions, I don't think they would be filled, because people couldn't afford it. But if we can have that many affordable homes, I really think that could make a really big difference to a whole generation of people that may decide to stay in Petersburg instead of leave. And that could be, you know, you hear about cities all around the world experiencing brain drain, where, you know, the youth that they decide to get educated and work and go elsewhere. And so then you get this hollowing out of the community, and it kind of decreases its future. So I do think it's important. I do want to recognize the importance of green space and the importance of you know, having your spot where you pick berries, where you cross country ski, where you build memories with your family. I do really think that's very important. That is a really beautiful spot by the cemetery. So I do find myself to be a bit conflicted because there is a bunch of new housing going in, but I really do circle back to the economies of scale, that if we want these houses that are going in to be truly affordable, the more we can build, the better. In terms of, you know, we don't want to build what's called affordable housing and then it not be affordable. So that's my reasoning at this point.
Yes.
I just want to reiterate that this is all happening in one neighborhood. So where there used to be a lot of open space access for recreation, there's going to be very little that's designated open space recreation. And so I agree that we need homes. I mean, this is their big project through public benefit is gonna provide quite a bit of homes. And I've yet to see exactly how many homes. Have they actually told us that, Liz, and do we know? How many homes will be created by the first two lots that were rezoned?
They have a preliminary plat, it'll be on your agenda for August.
Okay, and did it show?
But
homes
it's not the entire,
on both sides of their proposed roads or just on one side like I've seen before?
I was just gonna say it's not the entire property, because they're doing it in phases.
Okay, all right, well, I just feel like I don't see the emergency to do this now. If we could wait and see what those other development that's on those GL 14 and 21 provide, how many homes they do provide. Plus they've got those single family lots that they bought. I'd hate to see these taken away from this neighborhood, because that's a lot of saturation in one neighborhood. And there are developments going on elsewhere around town that can also fill these needs. I've heard somebody say before that people aren't building homes or buying homes, but of the crewmen that fished with us in the last few years, my daughter bought a home, she's building a home. My other daughter bought a home. Ross and Aaron bought a home. Vanessa and Scott built a home. Cole built a home. It can be done. Maybe you're not building mansions, but you're building your first home. I feel like I'm missing somebody from my crew, and I'm sorry if I am. I know, like Ross and Aaron, yes, they bought a home, but they also bought land and plan to build on it. So I don't see where people can't afford to do what they do. And I mean, how many new homes were built in the last year? We used to see that in the paper. Do we still publish it? We used to have a section in the paper once a year that said how many permits had been granted, how many new homes have been built. Does anybody remember that in the paper? Because I think it'd be interesting to see. My sister, Lee, had a home built next to her within the last couple of years. My sister Heidi, right across from her, there's a new home that's not inhabited yet, but it is under construction, mostly done. So, I mean, this is just in my little world, the people revolving around me. So I think they might be able to satisfy our needs with the lots they already have had rezoned. Plus the other developments that are going on around town.
And,
We have Tom,
yeah,
online with the hand
Okay.
raised.
Tom?
He took his hand down. Are you still on the call, Tom?
They're both have their mic.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Joshua, I see you.
I'm sorry.
You can go ahead if you have a comment.
Yeah, so, I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I agree with Heather and Donna, in that the prospect of project expanding, beyond what the company already owns, it is a lot, it's a lot of land, but at the same time, I'm thinking about it economically, and that's what this land is for. If we didn't have a purpose for the land, then it was designated for recreation. And somebody has an idea that they can use the land, and that use would benefit the borough economically. I have a hard time getting away of that when we are in a housing crisis, and and the inflated home prices, because of the lack of homes. I think that I can support this, moving forward. If it's gonna be something that helps the community in the long run. And I did try to find a use for that land. I couldn't find anybody that actually uses it. Today was the first time that I heard somebody does use it for cross-country skiing. And I don't think if we sold these lots, that would interfere with somebody cross-country skiing in that area. Maybe not those two lots, but there's a lot of land out there for that purpose. So I'm going to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
Yeah, I'm here to get the feedback if you too bad. I agree with Tom, but I want to shift gears for a minute. And I want to ask you guys if you've heard of anything called a land value tax. Anyone heard of that? It's a special tax on underutilized structures. We're talking about the housing crisis more directly here. And it's bumping into our use of public lands. Maybe one of the best ways to free up more housing is to incentivize property owners to better use the land that we already have in the built environment. The land value tax addresses that problem directly by charging, it's not a fine, it's more like a fee for underutilized structures and land.
I think that's more of a borough assembly type discussion, not something that we would discuss at the planning commission, because that's dealing with taxation and such, which that is completely in the hands of the borough assembly. We're more to do with zoning and building and that sort of thing. So I think it's that would be something that would be better addressed to the borough assembly.
Sorry.
Tom, you have your hand up? Nope. Do we have any further comments, discussion?
I mean, it would be nice to see a plan,
Mhm.
especially because we know there is a plan upcoming for the parcel they've already purchased. And I think I'm assuming there's been some changes as, you know, there always is over time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that is. Last I saw, they were looking at like about 8,000 square foot lots, so, 80 by 100s. So, but I don't know if that's changed. But we'll see that at the next meeting. Any further comments, questions? Would you please do the roll call?
Heather,
No,
Jim,
Yes.
Joshua,
Yes.
can you say that one more time?
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry, I got cut off on the phone.
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Micah,
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Our next is consideration of an application from Eric Grunberg for variance from the rear yard and side yard setbacks to construct a garage within 3 feet of the property line at 304 Road Alley. Do we have any public testimony?
My name is Eric Grunberg. I'm representing myself. I'm just here today to answer questions for you guys. I have 2 lots off Lumber Street. And one is accessible from Hogue Alley and one is accessible from Lansing Street. And I'm proposing to build a garage on the Hogue Alley lot. And it'll be accessed through my existing lot on Lansing Street. And the best place to build a garage is on the other side of the property where there's not heavily wooded area or a 10-foot bank. So that's why I'm asking for the variance. Pretty simple. If you have questions.
And you're asking to go 3 feet from the property line?
My proposed idea is to build the walls at 5 feet from the property line, but the eaves would be at 3 feet, so I'd have to fire rate the eaves. So technically the building would be at 5. And
Yeah, we usually don't like to do the variances for, we like to keep that 5 foot.
well, you can reject. I don't care. I'm here to ask. Doesn't matter to me.
I have a motion.
Yes,
I move to approve resolution 2026-603 to allow construction of a 16 by 24 garage no closer than 5 feet from property lines at 14 East Lansing Street.
do we have a second
Second.
discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Grunberg, for coming in. The part of the packet that resonates with me is kind of the explanation for the 5 feet. Staff recommendation is for construction no closer than 5 feet, which provides some separation from neighboring properties for snowfall from roof, increased runoff from roof, and is consistent with fire code requirement and past practices as a commission. Recently, we had people come in and they wanted to go closer to the property line, we said, you know, we can go closer than 10 feet, but not closer than 5. So that's been the commission. And I think that makes a lot of sense, and I hope that you can still get a good garage with system setbacks.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just for my clarification, because we've had, so this is 2 separate lots, am I correct? So in the past, we haven't let people build a garage without an apartment. Am I being wrong on this? Yes.
I can speak to it. So it's 2 separate lots, but also an application of removing that line between creating 1 lot. So then it's gonna be 1 lot.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And that's clear?
Yeah,
You-
it's the lots are
okay.
gonna be.
Just wanted to make sure that was taken care of.
We wouldn't
Okay.
be able to issue the building
Yeah.
permit as Commissioner Floyd's said.
I think
Have that
if it, you know, with the 5 foot, keep it to 5 feet, which is kind of our standard practice, I think that's good, so I'm in favor. So, any further discussion, any other comments?
So do we,
You need the,
clarify that in our thing?
In her motion, she said, 5 feet, so we should be good, right, Liz?
Yeah, it's in the resolution.
Yeah, okay. So, roll call, please.
Okay.
Jim,
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
Joshua,
Yes.
one more time,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes,
Heather,
Yes.
okay, moving on to non-agenda items, commissioner comments. The first thing we have listed is communication facilities, overlay ordinance. And then we've also got data center on there. Who wants to start out on that?
I'll start for the communication facility overlay ordinance. We've spoken previously at prior meetings about getting some language in for a tower overlay, so I proposed that and that's printed out. So the first, and I pulled these, the first 2 bullet points I pulled from the most up-to-date, what I believe is the most up-to-date ordinance for regulating wireless communication facilities. Because the tower overlay, communication facility overlay is meant to be kind of a mirror where we've made things now conditional use, these make a by right use in certain parcels. I figured that the definitions should also mirror each other. So, the by right, what the definition of tower I pulled, it doesn't just include wireless communication facilities, it also includes other types of towers, which I pulled from the conditional use clauses in the ordinance. So that's why I did what I did, and that reads, A, wireless communication facilities, WCF, under the provisions of chapter 19.58, that's incorporated by reference, the entire definition. And then B, a radio or television antenna, transmitter or tower by any other antenna, transmitter or tower that is not a WCF, excepting non-commercial antennas. So I thought that would be an appropriate definition for by right tower. We also discussed setbacks. I really liked the 110% setback clause in the regulation ordinance. I think it makes a lot of sense for safety reasons. We have the ability to do it under the Telecommunications Act because it's for physical safety and not environment or health type safety. So I thought it made sense to include those safety setbacks in our tower overlay. And I want to make just a tiny tweak. I took this definition from the tower, the two-part tower definition in part 1 is reflected in the ordinance. They have the WCF towers and then they have non-communication tower or non-communication towers, other towers than WCF towers. And so I took the definition from the other towers because I thought maybe that would be more general, but I think I can just add a tiny tweak and do any instead of a tower. So I'll read that out loud. Setbacks, notwithstanding any other yard setback requirement for a district, any tower base must be situated on a parcel such that it is set back a minimum of 110% of the total transmitter or tower height from all property lines and the boundary lines of any public road or right of way. And then the third thing that I recall discussing is the purpose section of the overlay, and my impression of the commission's reasons for making this tower overlay. I've written this to incorporate community preferences in WCF siting and help streamline decision-making process for wireless communication corporations in siting WCFs consistent with the Telecommunications Act of 1996. I can put towers instead of WCFs in here because this does more than just WCF towers, but the Telecommunications Act is what regulates communication towers. So anyway, I put this together for the commission's consideration, so we can keep the ball continuing to roll.
Thank you. Liz, we're just, from a staff standpoint, where do we stand on this? What's going on with it? Are we waiting for more from the Borough Assembly, or as far as the overlay?
No, this is purely in your hands.
Yeah, but I was wondering if the Borough Assembly, because we were talking about waiting for the Borough Assembly to finalize the regular cell tower.
The other reading is on the 20th.
Okay,
But it passed unanimously, so it looks like,
okay, so we're finally getting some clarification there. But I think it's probably premature. It's a good idea to get going on putting this in, but I think it's premature to take any action on it until that is finalized.
I agree. Last meeting, we thought we should make it a discussion item and perhaps maybe an action item at the next meeting.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm thinking now, so. Okay. As far as the data center stuff, or we got both
Yeah.
Tom and Josh have their hands up, so.
Yeah.
All right,
Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just, thinking about the tower ordinance. And when it passes, won't it also cover the overlay area? Start to say what?
We have not proposed the overlay to the Borough Assembly yet. So we were waiting until the regular cell tower language was finalized before we discussed the overlay and send that to them, because it kind of, until they finalized what the rules were, it didn't make sense for us to do the overlay. So that's kind
that
of,
makes sense.
yeah.
All right, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Josh.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
No. Go
No, you
ahead.
can't. I don't know. I could do it on my notes. I just had a small comment.
We can't hear you, Josh.
All right, maybe I'll just have to
Talking to the
save it for
phone?
later.
I think he changed his mind.
Sorry.
Okay. Liz, this is the data center is a proposed language you come up with, or?
I don't know where.
You don't know where that came from? Okay,
Well, that came from me.
okay.
No, we don't have a data center ordinance in place. I don't think we discussed it much, but I put a few things together there. I pulled some language from the Anchorage data center ordinance that passed this past March. And I added some stuff to it to conform to our borough. And then I've heard some feedback from citizens that also would like to be included in some of their ideas, have some of their ideas included in the discussion. So I thought I would bring it up today. This is kind of like a rough draft, just with some basic ideas of what the ordinance would require as far as the amount of work that we're probably gonna have to do. We take some time. And so I wanted to just get the discussion going today, and also maybe if we wanted to have a work session later, or maybe a commit, if you could get together with the public and public meeting format and try to develop a data center ordinance.
Liz, I have a question for you on this. Have we heard from Power and Light about how much they said there's power available for a certain amount, but they were gonna look up a number. Have they figured anything out yet, or?
I don't think so. I think they have a transformer in place, and my understanding is the initial amount is half of that transformer's capacity.
Okay.
But they're not gonna be able to offer more power than that transformer has
Right,
capacity for,
right.
so.
Yeah, I would
That's
just-
self-limiting, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
I was just trying
I
to
don't have
figure
the number though, yeah.
if we had a number, because it's kind of, would be good to have that from Power and Light of how much power would be available for data centers, so we can have that to kind of as a baseline to start putting together.
Beyond just this one that's being discussed.
Not just the one that's being
Okay.
discussed, I was saying overall, how much could the community, what's the capacity, what's the ceiling that it can handle? And because that gives us kind of like a baseline of where to start for putting our ordinance together, saying, okay, beyond this limit, it's kind of a hard limit.
Yeah, I know they're working on an ordinance for large commercial users, and I think
Yeah.
that's what that is intended.
That's
to
part of that,
address.
yeah, okay, so,
So maybe they have it, I can ask them.
yeah, but it's something I'd like to be kept in the loop, I think we should be on that, because then whatever we're doing is mirroring what they're doing. So that way it, works together, we wanna work with the other departments so that we're, kind of all on the same page. We're addressing the other issues of data centers, they're kind of the ones leading on how much power, so.
I don't think, they haven't released a draft of that
Yeah,
ordinance yet, so. but-
yeah, I'm just was curious.
I mean, I think we could have Steve Harbor come and.
Yeah.
Talk to it, if that would help you as well.
I think it might help, with us getting something on paper, so. it might be good for all of us to go through this before the next meeting and put in any ideas we have of things that need to be in it. Then we have a more in-depth discussion at that time. So,
One question I have when we're talking about power, and then we've just had a lengthy discussion about the need for homes and this, a large subdivision of 80 mobile homes. Is in power and lights consideration of available power for data centers, that taking into effect that we would like to. We need enough power for these homes to go in. So we can't,
yeah,
if we want homes for people to come here and live here, we don't wanna preemptively sell all the power to them and then make costs go up, cause there's not enough. That would that to me, that's kind of why I would like to see this ordinance, one of the reasons why I'd like to see this ordinance getting underway, because what do we wanna have be our priority, homes or data centers for affordable power?
yeah,
There's more to just an affordable home. What makes being able to live in Petersburg is the other
Yeah.
components that power
But that's-
has.
but without any information from Power Light. So we kind of need to hear what they're talking about. Cause that is gonna mesh into whatever we put together, and then the other parts of the parts I think we need to go through and look at. Are what limitations you wanna put on the data centers as far as this. You know, you must use this type of system, you must, you know.
But it is talking
So-
about,
And that they must get pre-approval on water usage and that sort of thing. As part of this, of applying for a permit, rather than just, you know,
one of the things that this, language that Tom put in here, though, that I thought is that, keeping in with the town's plan for the waterfront.
Right.
You know, does a data center go along with
yeah,
the marine plan?
right.
So
And
I
that's-
just didn't,
That's why I would also think we probably should have input from Harbor on this. From the Harbor Board, because, you know, they're gonna be more of the marine use type stuff, and they probably are gonna want to have a say in it. So,
yeah, I just want, how do we get all those pieces to come together so that we're not behind the ball and getting a data center before we have this ordinance, kind of like what's happening
well,
with towers?
that's why it's like, if we start working on it now, and we start putting all these pieces down, putting all of our individual thoughts down on paper, that way. We can come into it and hopefully we can get input from Harbor and from Power and everything else. So that we all are on the same page, when we put together, it works really well for everybody.
I like,
So,
in that, along this vein, I like the idea of a work session, so that we can do a multidisciplinary approach. I would also, if Mr. Harbor from Power and Light, Director Harbor, if he is willing to come to our next meeting and educate us on the process that he's undergoing with this ordinance update, I think that would be very, very helpful. I also, want to kind of reiterate though, that our zoning ordinance is more than just power. It's
Mhm.
pollution, it's land use, it's things
Yeah.
that are very firmly in our purview, although I agree we have to incorporate by reference
Yeah.
their work.
Yeah, and it helps if we can be communicating with the other boards and everything else, so that we're all putting something together that's gonna work well for everybody, and everybody feels they've been. So I think that's the best way to do it,
Yeah.
so, yes. Please step up and state your name.
Thanks for not being so rigid. Well, I believe it was the very first whereas in the ordinance that was presented to the assembly. Talked about our community connectivity goals. We've never defined those. I think we're putting the cart before the horse, and we need to know what we as a community needs, not what the data center needs. And so I guess that's my biggest issue. Excuse me. Anyway, I encourage you to come up with a purpose and needs statement that addresses those issues. In that whereas it talked about health, safety, there was 3 or 4 things in there, but that's kind of general. So it would be nice to see a purpose and need statement to kind of define what are we looking for. Anyway, thank you.
Could you just state your name in the microphone?
Sorry, Becky Knight.
Thank you.
All right. I guess we've got some work to do before our next meeting as far as going over this and come up with some ideas. Liz, any staff comments?
No, we'll have, applications for consideration in August, so, if you could let me know during the year.
I'm planning on being in town.
Saying, what is the date of the August meeting?
It is August 11th, and at noon, of course.
The only reason why I wouldn't be here is because I have Mike and jury duty and so we'll see.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.